As family, we want justice and we want closure. So if you have any information, please come forward. Thank you.
Hey guys, welcome back to True Crime with Shannon, where I cover missing persons, unsolved cases, crime news, and more. Well, I'm feeling a little under the weather today. I'm hoping it's just a little cold or something that I'm getting over. So hopefully it'll be gone in the next 24 hours or so. The woman I live with, my friend, she's been sick all weekend, so I'm hoping I didn't pick up everything that she has, but that's the pits when you live with folks and they get sick. You kind of pass it around. But I wanted to discuss the unsolved case of Amber Hagerman. She is the one that inspired the Amber Alert system. I just watched the new documentary on the Peacock Network the other day, and can you believe 27 years later, they still have not solved who killed this beautiful little girl, this 9-year-old. So I wanted to kind of go over what's known about the case, and I'm going to definitely keep this one and cover it some more in the near future as well. I'm going to do some more research on it. But this particular article is off of Kuro 7. I believe they're a local Texas affiliate. Let me double check that. Yeah, they're out of Texas. And this article here is actually from last year. And today, oddly enough, this is like a year and a day old as I record this video. Arlington, Texas, 8 minutes. That's how long it took for 9-year-old Amber Hagerman to be abducted after leaving her grandmother's home to ride her bike. The Texas girl's body was found 4 days later in a creek bed a few miles away. Amber's throat had been cut. Her unaliver has never been found. And there's a picture of her with the Easter Bunny. And again, this was 2021, so this is about a year old, this article. Last week, 25 years to the day, actually, excuse me, this is 2 years old. See, this cold has gotten in my head. So this is actually 2021, so this would be 2 years and a day old. So last week, 25 years to the day, so today would be 27 years. I did have that correct. After Amber was taken, police in Arlington renewed their pleas to the public for answers about who took the freckled-faced little girl and why. A new dedicated tip line has been established for information on the Hagerman case. Oak Farms Dairy continues to offer a $10,000 reward for new information leading to an arrest and indictment. All this time, we've only had one witness, Sergeant Ben Lopez, a member of the original task force, said during a January 13th, 2021 news conference. That's why we're pleading. If there's anyone out there that has information, even if they think it's just a small bit of information, it may be the lead we need to break this. If you have any information on the January 13th, 1996 abduction and unaliving of Amber Hagerman, we're asking that you call Arlington detectives at 817-575-8823. Authorities have also disclosed for the first time that they have DNA evidence in this case, as new DNA technology, including genetic genealogy, increasingly helps law enforcement tie open cases to long unidentified suspects. Arlington investigators find themselves with renewed hope. Detective Grant Gilden, the lead investigator on the cold case, declined to tell the Dallas Morning News what physical evidence the department has in the case, citing it as information only Amber's unaliver would be aware of. That evidence has been secured and maintained for the past 27 years with the hope that it could someday provide a vital lead. I'm hoping now that we're 27 years later, I'm really hoping that something breaks very, very soon. He said at last week's news conference that the evidence would be submitted later this year for testing, and I have not seen any updates on that. On a yearly basis, I talk with all the major laboratories around the country to see if there's any new technologies or anything we could possibly be trying with the evidence that we have, Gilden told reporters gathered in the parking lot from which Amber was taken. That is what's led to some new developments where we can try some things this year. Amber's mother, Donna Williams, also pleaded with the public and spoke directly to the person who unalived her daughter. To Amber's unaliver, I'm asking you today, please turn yourself in, Williams said last week. Give Amber justice. Amber needs justice deeply. And that's her mom. Arlington's little angel. Amber and her then 5-year-old brother Ricky left their grandmother's house on their bikes at 3:10 p.m. on January 13, 1996. It was a Saturday afternoon, and Williams had told the pair they could ride their bikes, but to stick to riding around the block, according to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, or NCMEC. Williams, a single mother, had recently been interviewed for a segment on Dallas news station WFAA, which was profiling families who had successfully gotten off welfare. According to reports at the time, the segment, which included footage of Amber, was scheduled to run days after she vanished. As Amber and Ricky rode, a cool ramp in the parking lot of an empty Winn-Dixie 2/10 of a mile from the home beckoned them, the NCMEC website states. Ricky, remembering what they'd been told, soon headed back home, the 2/10 of a mile away. Minutes later, a 78-year-old man who lived down the street witnessed a terrible sight through the chain link fence that separated his backyard from the rear of the strip mall, where the store was located. The witness, Jimmy Caville, told CBS Dallas Fort Worth about the experience in 2016, the 20th anniversary of the abduction. I saw Amber riding up and down, Caviezel, who died months after that interview, told the news station. She was by herself. I saw this black pickup. He pulled up, jumped out, and grabbed her. When she screamed, I figured the police ought to know about it, so I called them. Amber also tried to kick the man as he forced her into the truck, Keeble told police. Keeble, a U.S. Navy veteran and former sheriff's deputy, told police that as he hurried into his house to call 911, he saw the kidnapper pull out of the parking lot and head west on Abram Street. So this would be the poster here on the left, the original missing persons poster for Amber Hagerman. And this right here is where the abduction happened right here. And then the witness here. Down over here. Here we go. So that's the witness here and the location of the abduction. And I believe that's her grandmother's house, the other green dot. Yeah, that's the grandmother's house. So basically it's not that far at all. And you have to remember, this is 1996. I honestly don't remember this case because in January of 1996, I was a 17-year-old high school senior. And the last thing on my mind was all this sort of stuff. You know, you're a kid, you're 17 years old, you're in your senior year of high school. Yeah, this I don't remember this case at all. And also I'm not from Texas, so I'm sure a lot of Texans were much more familiar with it. But in later years, as the Amber Alert system came out and it became more prominent, obviously, I learned more about how it originated. He described Amber's abductor as a white or Hispanic man in his 20s or 30s, under 6 feet tall and with a medium build, in brown or black hair. His truck, a single cab pickup, was in good condition and was solid black with no chrome or stripping. Police have said the truck was believed to be a 1980s or 1990s full-size Fleetwood pickup with a short wheelbase and non-sliding clear rear window. When Ricky returned to their grandmother's home alone a few minutes after he and his sister had left, family members immediately went looking for Amber. All they found was Amber's pink and white bicycle, which she had received for Christmas less than a month before. And that's yet another sad part of this whole thing. Her bike was less than a month old. Police officers had already arrived at the Winn-Dixie in response to Keeble's 911 call. Someone in the community saw something. The vast majority of children reported missing in the U.S. are found safe. Arlington police officials realized soon after Amber's bicycle was found, however, that her case was not one of a wandering child. The search for the missing girl was stigmatized by the lack of witnesses coming forward. There was a laundromat next to the Winn-Dixie in 1996, but detectives believe that potential witnesses may have been afraid to speak up out of fear of deportation. As of the 2000 census, just under a fifth of Arlington's more than 330,000 residents were Hispanic. The parking lot where Amber vanished is today home to a Mexican meat market, as well as an insurance office, a title loan business, and a dental office. So right here, where this vehicle is parked, where there's a dumpster, this is where she was abducted, and there's a memorial wall for her right there. Police officials said last week that the department has no interest in the immigration status of any witness who may have information about Amber's unaliver. Our hope is that someone in the community saw something. Maybe they didn't come forward 25, now 27 years ago out of fear of not wanting to get involved, Arlington Assistant Police Chief Kevin Colby said during last week's news conference. Whatever reason, we need folks to search their minds and bring forward anything that may be of value to our investigation. In the days after Amber's abduction, more than 50 police officers and FBI agents worked to bring the third grader home to her family. Their hopes were dashed when the girl's naked body was spotted near a drainage culvert in a creek bed behind an apartment complex. And this is the map of the area that she was found. This would be the photo here. This is basically the area that she was found. Very, very sad. Amber's parents at first did not want to believe the news that detectives and a police chaplain told them, the New York Times reported in 2016. She's still alive, her father, Richard Hagerman, told reporters. Police said at the time that maintenance workers at the apartment complex had been near the creek where Amber was found just hours before the grim discovery, and her body was not there. The Times reported that a rainstorm caused a rapid rise in creek waters, which may have carried her body to where it was found. Authorities said Amber was kept alive for at least 2 days after she was abducted, according to the NCMEC website. This fact leads detectives to believe that someone somewhere may have seen something related to her unaliving. And this is a better map of where she was found. See the body location here? So she was kept alive for 2 days. That is horrific to imagine what this poor little 9-year-old girl went through for 2 whole days. Very, very, very sad. Amber's legacy. More than 7,000. That's how many leads Arlington detectives have investigated in the more than 2 decades since Amber was slain. None of them have led to an arrest in the Girl Scout's death. Despite the lack of a conclusion to her own case, Amber has had a monumental impact on the cases of other missing children through the Amber Alert system. Diane Simone, who described herself as an ordinary woman and mother, watched on the television news as Amber's parents lived through their worst nightmare. Like her Arlington community, Simone wanted to help search for Amber, but didn't know what to look for, even though someone had witnessed the abduction, the NCMEC website states. And there is Amber's mother. There's a memorial there behind where she was abducted. Simone came up with an idea an alert system similar to the weather and civil defense alert systems already in existence. Her idea was established as the America's Missing Broadcast Emergency Response Alert System, better known as the Amber Alert in Amber Hagerman's honor. When a child is abducted, law enforcement sends an alert to radio and television stations, lottery systems, the Department of Transportation, and the NCMEC. The center sends the alerts to a wider audience as well. In the aftermath of Amber's 1996 unaliving, broadcasters in the Dallas-Fort Worth area partnered with law enforcement to develop the system. In 1998, an 8-week-old Arlington infant, Rayleigh Bradbury, became the first child rescued as a result of the Amber Alert. Bradbury, who had been kidnapped by her babysitter, was found 90 minutes after the alert went out, NBC News reported. In 2017, an 18-year-old Bradbury started college at the University of Texas in Austin. As of last week, at least 1,029 missing children have been recovered in the United States as a direct result of the Amber Alert system. And of course, this is 2 years later, so those numbers are much higher. I'm going to grab that and stick it through the magic of editing right here. There are likely more, said Carly Tapp, who oversees the program for the NCMEC. Most children in which an Amber Alert has been issued are safely recovered, but it's not always possible to determine if it was because of the alert, Tapp said on the NCMEC website. Williams said she's extremely proud of the alert system that bears her daughter's name. It's saved children's lives. It's helped bring children back to mommy and daddy, Williams said. It's another legacy for my daughter that she did not die in vain. She is still taking care of our little children just like she did when she was here. There's a picture of Amber with her little brother. The mother, who fought back tears as she spoke to reporters on the anniversary of her daughter's abduction, described Amber as a child who loved school and riding her prized bicycle. She also loved being a little mommy to her little brother, Williams said. I miss her every day, and she was so full of life, Williams said. I want to know why. Why her? She was only a little girl. Lopez also appeared emotional as he spoke of his hopes for solving the case. I would love to be able to give Donna and Ricky and the rest of the members of the family the answer to the question that they would like to know. Of course, that is who did this to Amber and bring that person to justice, Lopez said. Again, anyone with information on the abduction and unaliving of Amber Hagerman is asked to call Arlington Police Detectives at 817-575-8823.
On January 13, 1996, Amber Hagerman was abducted in broad daylight while she and her brother were riding bikes in the parking lot of an abandoned grocery store. The man snatched her off her bicycle and drove away with her in a black pickup. She was found dead with her throat cut 4 days later in a drainage ditch a few miles away, according to officials. Her murder gave rise to the Amber Alert System, America's child abduction alert system. 2 decades after Amber's abduction, investigators have combed through 8,000 tips to no avail. They announced at a press conference they will continue to work on Amber's case until her killer is found.
Detectives come and go. Some have passed away, some have retired. But someone will always be here to carry Amber's banner. And we absolutely believe that this case will be solved.
Amber's family joined law enforcement officials as they asked for anyone with information to come forward.
My main thing is for everyone to remember Amber. Remember the sacrifice that she had to endure. And Amber desperately needs justice. And if it wasn't for Amber, we would not have the Amber Alert today. And we would not help save over 700 children's lives today.
So this is a very sad case, and I highly, highly, highly recommend that you watch the new documentary on Peacock if you're able. If you have Peacock, if not, you can always get a short trial, a free trial to check it out. And it has a lot of unseen footage from when they were followed around for the story that was being done by WFAA with Amber's mom and Amber and her brother about her mom and the family getting off of welfare. So there's a lot of happy memories, and that really helped. I know they spoke about how it really helped put her face out there better than just a static photo on the screen. And also, as horrible as it is, it gave, you know, Diane and Ricky some more video to be able to remember their daughter and their sister. So it's a very weird coincidence, though, that happened. But I think it was just an odd timing. And but honestly, I mean, who grabs a little kid? And obviously, I believe they whoever picked Amber up and abducted her from behind that in that parking lot, they waited until her little brother Ricky pedaled off to go back home. They took off, and probably as soon as he was out of earshot, they swooped in and grabbed Amber. And the sad thing is, back in 1996, we didn't have video cameras everywhere. We didn't have all that technology that we do now. So it was a lot of eyewitness accounts. You really need to have people that see, people that hear talk later on that would be able to help, solve, see who took Amber, who maybe knows something, maybe someone who's related to the person that took her. So it's definitely one of those cases that it's not going to be as easy as something nowadays. But at the same time, they have DNA. And with the advances with DNA technology, I really hope that they can somehow get that in there and get some name or names or some kind of family uh, connection to pop out so they can start getting closer to finding this person or possibly persons if there was more than one involved later on that took little Amber and they took her away from her family and they took her away from her childhood and her life. So it's a very, very sad case. And I just can't believe it's 27 years. 27 years. And there just seems to be no leads. Now there is some stuff on some Facebook groups that there's speculation of folks involved. There's been a police officer's name thrown out there. I refuse to name anything until I do more research on it, and because some folks are thinking it's internal, so law enforcement is covering it up. I find that hard to believe. I think there's a lot of caring souls on this particular case that it, God forbid, it's one of their own. They're not going to let them get away with it. They're really not. It may take them some time to cipher through that, but if that's truly the case, if it is one of their own or somebody who has worked for the department, they're going to find out. This person cannot remain, free forever. It's gonna come out. Every criminal is gonna be caught at some point or another, and Amber will have her justice. I truly believe that. But this is still a very, very sad situation, and it breaks your heart. It truly does. So, I mean, and I would love to hear what you guys think in the comments. Depending upon your age, do you remember hearing about Amber Hagerman? Back in 1996. Do you remember, hearing when the Amber Alert became something that not only was used in Texas, but it became national? I'm curious to see what you guys think. And again, I'm going to dive more into this one and see what I can come up with. And I'll do another video soon on it. But let me know what you think in the comments. I really do want to know. All right, guys, with that said and done, I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. And most of all, stay safe.